Yes, good morning. How are you? Before I start teaching my lesson today, I would wish to teach most of my learners, those who are now watching me, how to wear masks. When you look at my mask, I'm covering the nose and the whole part of the chin. This is how you are supposed to wear your mask. Every now and then, as you move outside, as you are sent to buy something outside, make sure always you are in your mask. And again, make sure you also sanitize your hands. You wash your hands always with plenty of water. Otherwise, stay safe, be safe, just like your mathematics teacher. Thank you very much. Now I'm going to remove it because I'm alone here in the studio. Then as I move out again, I must wear the mask as per the government directives. Thank you very much. That's what you are supposed to do. Okay. After that little advice on how to wear masks, let me now start my lesson. Today, I'm going to teach a new topic that is ratios and proportion. Ratios and proportion. And you have seen I'm almost through with the syllabus. So I want now the remaining topics I will cover possibly before the end of this month. Then I will be through. So now ratio and proportion. And to begin with, I'm going to start with the ratios. And with the same subtopic, simplifying ratios in the simplest form. You are given a ratio, then you are taught simplify those ratios in the simplest form possible. Number one, example number one, we have ratio 4:8. Simplify 4:8 in the simplest form possible. In my case here now, the first step that you need to do is to write the ratios as a fraction. The first step, writing ratio as a fraction before you simplify. In my case here now, 4:8 as a fraction is 4/8. 4/8. Then you simplify to the simplest form. In my case here now, by 4 here is 1. By 4 here is 2. So my ratio as a fraction, simplified in the simplest form, is a half. So how do I write half as a ratio again? Remember, the answer should be in terms of ratios. When you leave your answer as a half, that means you are still wrong. You are not correct. Then, now, how do we write as a ratio? You always start with the numerator, then followed by the denominator. So, in my case here now, my answer here is 1:2. That's how you simplify ratios in the simplest terms possible. Another example now, simplify 5:15 in the simplest form. Simplify B now, we have 5:15. Simplify 5:15 in the simplest form possible. I've said the first step is to write the ratio as a fraction. So in my case here now, I have 5/15. The next step is to simplify where possible. Simplify where possible. In my case here now, I have by 5, 1. By 5 here is 3. My ratio as a fraction now is a third. Now, how do we write a third as a ratio? I've just said that you always start with the numerator, then followed with the denominator. So in my case here now, my answer is 1:3. That's another example. Example number 3. Example number 3, you can be given ratios which they are not in the same unit. Remember this and underline this wherever you are. Before you simplify the ratio, make sure they are in the same units. You cannot simplify ratios when they are not in the same unit. For example, now I have a liter ratio 100 milliliters. I have half a liter ratio 100 milliliters. I want now to simplify that. How do you simplify this now? Make sure they are in the same units. We cannot simplify when they are like this. You have to change now liters to milliliters so that they conform with the rules of ratios, which must be in the simplest form possible. In my case here now, remember when I was teaching capacity, I said 1 liter is equivalent to 1,000 milliliters. I repeat again. 1 liter is equivalent to 1,000 milliliters. So in my case here now, I have to change half a liter to milliliters by multiplying by 1,000. So in my case here now, I will have to change half a liter times 1,000 to change now liters to milliliters. In my case here now, I will get 500. So my answer here is 500 milliliters. So the ratio is now 500 milliliters into 100 milliliters. Now, because now they are in the same units, now I can change as a fraction and again simplify where possible. In my case here now, I'm going to start with the first one as a numerator, then second part as the denominator. So in my case here now, I have 500 milliliters over 100 milliliters. Milliliter will go, then 2 zeros will go. So my answer is now 5 over 1. Right as a ratio will be now 5 ratio 1. That's how you simplify ratios in the simplest form. Another example, 15 meters ratio 5 kilometers. Another example, that is part D now. You are given 15 meters ratio to ratio 5 kilometers. 5 kilometers. Yes, I've said before you simplify, everything should be in the same units before you simplify. In my case here now, I have meters and I have kilometers. You cannot simplify when we have meters and we have kilometers at the same time. You must change the bigger unit to a smaller unit. When I was teaching about length, remember the formula that I gave you about length? I said Kioko has dug many dams containing mathematics. I gave you that as part of your formula. I also gave you another one. Mom can do maths. Daddy adds Kiswahili. Those are the formula that I gave you. And the very first, let me remind you how to change kilometers to meters. Look at my table here. Look at my table here first. Look at my table here. Yes, I said, this is what I said. And you must be very keen on this. You must be very keen on this. Yes. This is what I said. Kioko, that is K, has dug many dams containing mathematics. Kioko has dug many dams containing mathematics. What do I mean? K stands for kilometers. You can zoom here. K stands for kilometers, which is km. Has hectometers, decameters, meters, decimeters, centimeters, and the millimeters. I repeat again now. The formula of length I gave you when I was teaching about length. Kioko has dug many dams containing mathematics. And you move up. I also said Mom can do maths. Daddy adds Kiswahili. These are formulas that none of you can forget. And I said everywhere here we wrote 10. All the slopes we write 10. So now we have kilometers to meters. When you look at my table, kilometers is here and the meters is here. I said when you are changing a bigger unit to a smaller unit, you multiply. So in my case here now, look at my table. I have 10 multiplied by 10 multiplied by 10, which is 1,000. So in my case here now, 1,000 meters is equivalent to 1 kilometer. 1,000 meters is the same as 1 kilometer. So now I want to change 5 kilometers. What about 5 kilometers? Kindly try to memorize this method so that you don't need to make your brain tired by trying to cram how many centimeters make 1 kilometer, how many meters make this, how many hectometers make kilometer. That's too much work. Just know Kioko has dug many dams containing mathematics, or mom can do math, daddy adds Kiswahili for your formula. So in my case here now, I have 5 multiplied by 1,000 now. That means now I have 5,000 kilometers, 5,000 meters. So now I have 15 meters and 5,000 meters. Now from there now, I can write as a fraction with the same as now 15 over 5,000, which is equivalent by 5 is 3. By 5 you get 1,000. Because now 3 cannot divide 1,000, the answer is a ratio now will be 3 is to 1,000. That's how you write fraction, and that's how you write ratios in the simplest form. However, sometimes you can be given 3 parts as ratio. I want you to note this very clearly. Sometimes you can be given 3 parts. You can be given 6 is to 8 is to 12. Let me explain that before I give you some assignment on how to simplify ratios in the simplest form. Sometimes examiners, I told you at the beginning, mathematics is very tricky. Mathematics just play with the numbers, and the examiner can also play with the numbers to make you be confused. So in my case here now, simplify these ratios. You are given ratios in the 3 parts. We have now 6 is to 8 is to 12. Then you are write these ratios in the simplest form possible. And there are 3 parts. So what you do with the step that I've given you, just follow the steps. Number 1, change everything as a fraction. Because there are 3 parts, it will be now 6 over 8 and again over 12. Then from there now, you simplify all of them. And make sure you simplify with the common divider. A number that will divide 6, 8 and 2. My case here 2 will divide all of them. So by 2 here I will get 3. By 2 here I will get 4. By 2 here I will get 6. So now 3, 4 and 6, none of the digits can simplify those numbers. So my answer will remain just the way they arrange one another. The answer will be 3 is to 4 is to 6. Class, that's how we simplify ratios. Let me give you another example of 3 parts of a ratio. We have 26, 39 and 65. This is part E. Part F, we have 26, 39, 65. You can also simplify all these 3 parts. You can be given by an examiner. Again, the first step, convert everything as a fraction. It will be 26 over 39 and again over 65. Then look at the common divisor of all this. When you look here, 13 will divide all of them. So by 13 here will be 2, by 13 will be 3, by 13 will be 5. So in my case here, my ratio is 2 is to 3 is to 5. That's how you simplify ratios in the simplest form possible. Assignment, simplify the following ratios in the simplest form. This is part of your assignment. For you to understand the topic, I said you must work out a few examples by yourself. Number 1, this is assignment. This is now exercise. Simplify the following ratios in the simplest form. Number 1, we have 18 is to 12. Part 2, I have 5 centimeters. Ratio 5 meters. Then part 3, I have now 3 parts. I have 6, ratio 9 and ratio 12. Then the last one now, write 17 is to 34. 17 ratio 34 in the simplest form. Class, for you to understand how to simplify ratios, make sure you work on these examples on your own and test yourself to see whether you have understood how to simplify ratios or not. Part 2 now, sharing ratios. Let me go to part 2, which is about sharing ratios. Part 2, sharing ratios. This is a very common area in this topic, which is so much common in both internal and external exams. You can share ratios. You are given money and you share it in ratio form. This one is very common in our day-to-day life. We share main items using ratios. For example, now, Kioko and Vitalis shared money in the ratio 1:4. Here we have two people. We have your teacher, Mr. Kioko, and you also have your other teacher, who is Teacher Vitalis. So they are sharing money in the ratio 1:4. Remember, the way the names follow one another. I started like saying Kioko and Vitalis. And Vitalis. Those are two people, two teachers. They are sharing their money in the ratio 1:4. That means just the way they follow one another. Don't change the names. When you start with the other part, you exchange the numbers, you still get an answer which is very wrong. So now, when you are told share ratios, Kioko and Vitalis, make sure that if the first name is Kioko, 1 will be for Kioko and 4 is for Vitalis. So we want to share some money with the two of them in the ratio 1:4. Question A. What fraction of money did each get? What fraction of money did each get? Understand the question before you work it out. I'm sharing money in the ratio 1:4. And what fraction did Kioko get? And what fraction did Vitalis get? When you are sharing ratio, it's always first to understand which part of fraction is for Kioko and which part of fraction for Vitalis. In my case here now, Kioko will only get 1 over the total. Class, the total is 1 added to 4, which is equivalent to 5. So what fraction will Kioko get? Kioko will only get 1 over the total, which is 5. What fraction of money will Vitalis get? Vitalis, because he's getting 4, it will be 4 now over the total, which means now Vitalis is getting 4 over the total, which is 4 over 5. That's how you convert as a fraction. Then part number B. What percentage of money did each get? Once you get the fraction now, you can get now percentage. During my time when I was 3 percentage, I said the word percentage means 100%. So if you are taught to convert what Kioko got as a percentage, that means simply you just multiply by 100%. For Vitalis, you also multiply by 100% to convert now your fraction to percentage. In my case here now, I have by 5 1, by 5 you have 20. That means Kioko got only 20% of the money. Then Vitalis got a majority of the percentage, which is by 5 1, by 5 is 20, multiplied by 4, Vitalis got 80%. That's how you convert fractions into percentage. Question C. If the amount of money shared was 55 shillings, if now Kioko and Vitalis, they were sharing only 55 shillings in the ratio 1:4, how much money did each of them get? How much money did each of them get? They are sharing only 55 shillings. So because I said Kioko got a fifth and the total money was 55, that means now to get how much money Kioko got, it will just be now the fraction of Kioko, which is 1 over 5 multiplied by 55. Remember, they are sharing only 55 shillings. If you want to get the fraction for Vitalis, the share for Vitalis will be now 4 over 5 times 55. In my case here now, by 5, 1, by 5, 11. Kioko got only 11 shillings. Then Vitalis by 5, 1, by 5, 11. 11 times 4, he got 55 shillings. This is now how we share ratios. Kioko got 11 and Vitalis got 55 shillings. That's how we share ratio. Another example on sharing ratios, Juma and Marian shared 350 in the ratio 3:4. Class, you can start sharing your whatever you have with your friends. You can start sharing with whatever you have with your friends in a certain ratio. So now here we have Juma and Marian. We have Juma and we have Marian. Just to emphasize what I've said, if I start with Juma, that means the first ratio is for Juma and the other one is for Marian. So they are sharing 350 in the ratio 3:4. So that means now 3 is for Juma and 4 is for Marian. They are sharing 350 shillings. This is now the question now. How much money did Marian get? How much money did Marian get? Now, the first thing, you get the fraction of Marian. The way we have done to Kioko and Vitalis, let us get the fraction of Marian, because they want how much money did Marian get. According to the ratio now, Marian got 4. So Marian got 4 over the total. The total of 3 and 4 is 7. So Marian got 4 over the total, which is 7. Then multiplied by 350. Then you simplify by 7, 1. By 7 here is 50 times. Then 50 multiplied by 4, you get 200 shillings. That was the share for Marian. 4 over the total. In case they ask you the share for Juma, you do the same thing. Juma got 3. So Juma will be now 3 over the total. And the total here will be 7. So Juma will be now 3 over the total. Then times 350. In my case, you have by 7, 1. By 7, you have 50. Then 50 multiplied by 3, and you get 150. That will be the share for Juma. Class, that's how we share ratios. Another example now, share 60 kilogram of unga in the ratio of 5:7. We have a family here who are sharing now 60 kilogram of unga in the ratio 5:7. They are sharing now 5:7. They are sharing 60 kilograms of unga in the ratio 5:7. How much did the first person get? Now, the fraction of the first person should be now 5 over the total. And the class, the total of 5 and 7 is 12. So in my case here now, I will have 5 over the total, which is 12, then times 60 kilogram. I get the share for the first person. By 12, 1, by 12 will go 5. So the first person will get only 25 kilogram. For you to get the share of the second person will be now 7 over the total, which is now 7. The total again is 12, multiplied by the total number of kilograms to be shared. In my case here now, I simplify by 12, 1, by 12, 5. 5 multiplied by 7, I get 35 kilograms. Class, if you also want to prove your answer, you note that 25 plus 35, you still get 60 kilograms. That's how we share ratio. Very fast, let me relate the same topic to what has been tested nationally in our final class 8 exams. Number 1, let me give a few examples to our learners who are outside there, so that they can also relate my lesson today with what is common in the exam. I said earlier, if you always want to perform well in any area of your work, also now look at the previous work which was done by other learners in the final exam. Don't just follow the syllabus blindly. Follow the syllabus as you refer the questions which have been tested both internally and externally. Now, in the year 2009, number 35, they tested this question. The ratio of boys to girls in class. I'm not writing the sentence. Listen to me carefully wherever you are. The ratio of boys to girls in a certain class is 2:3. The ratio of boys to girls in a certain class. So we are starting with the boys. Get me right? To girls in a certain class is 2:3. If you start with the boys, make sure 2 is for boys, then the other part will be for the girls. So we have now 2:3. Now, what is the percentage of the number of boys? What is the percentage of the number of boys? Now, before you get the percentage, write boys as a fraction, just the way I've taught you before. Write boys as a fraction. Boys, they were 2 over the total. The total number of boys and girls is 2 plus 3, which is 5. So the fraction of boys was 2 over 5. Then from there now, you convert to percentage. Now you multiply by 100%. I said earlier, and I want to repeat again, once to convert fraction to percentage, you just multiply by 100%. In my case here now, I have 2 over 5 multiplied by 100%, which is by 5, 1. By maybe will go 20 times. So 20 times 2 now, the boy will be represented by 40%. So that was the question tested back in 2009, number 35. Now, in case they ask you about girls, you still do the same. Girls now will be 3 over the total. And the total number of pupils is 5. So let us, these are boys. Let us get girls now. Assume now they had asked girls, which is 3 over the total times 100%. In my case here, I have by 5, 1. By maybe will go to 20. So 3 multiplied by 20, I get 60%. That's how you convert as a percentage. Another example was tested back in the year 1999. The same scenario again. The ratio of girls to boys in a school is 3:2. Now, apart from the syllabus, now look at how the questions have been framed in the exam. The ratio of girls to boys again. I'm starting with the girls again. The other one started with the boys. Now this one starting with the girls. So the ratio of the ratio of girls to boys is 3:2. The ratio of girls to boys is 3:2. Now, if there are 120 more girls than boys, understand the trick of this examiner. If there are 120 more girls than boys, if there are 120 more girls than boys. That's the trick of that question now. There are 120 more girls than boys. How many boys are there in the school? According to my ratio, girls are more by 1. Understand that? Understand that? According to the ratio now, girls are more by 1. So now, how comes that one? The examiner is telling us now there are 120 more girls than boys. So when you use your brain so well, you'll notify that the difference is 1, which should be equivalent to 120 pupils, because we are told there are 120 more girls than boys. Then the question is, how many boys were there in the school? Boys were 2. So now, what about 2? Then you cross multiply. You get 2 times 120 over 1. 120 times 2, you get 240. The answer was 240 boys. Let me give another example where we also have a difference, so that you also understand. That you also understand. Yes. Another example. Let me give another example. Shukri and Ahmed shared money in the ratio 4:5. We have Shukri and Ahmed who are sharing money. So in my case here, I've started with Shukri and Ahmed. They are sharing some money in the ratio of 4:5. That means the first part is for Shukri, the second part is for Ahmed. Now, if Ahmed got 6 more than Shukri, the same question, the same scenario here is also tells us here. If Ahmed got 6 more than Shukri, now, how much money did Shukri get? Now, we are told now, Ahmed got 6 more. According to my ratio, understand this is the stem of the question. According to the ratio now, Ahmed got 1 more. But in the question, we are told, Ahmed got 6 more. That means 1 is equivalent to 6. So, how much money did Shukri get? Which is represented by 4. So, what about 4? Then you cross multiply, you say 4 times 6, which is the same as 24. So, now Shukri got 24 shillings. Shukri got 24 shillings. Class, that's how we share ratios. Now, another example before I wind up. Kioko no, let me use another name. The ratio of the weights of 2 boys was 2:3. We have now the ratio of weights of 2 boys. We are told the ratio is 2:3. So we have 2 boys. They are sharing their weight in the ratio 2:3. Now, if the lighter boy weighs 36 kilograms, the lighter boy, who is the lighter boy now? When you look at 2:3, that means now 2 represent the lighter one and the other boy is 3. So we are told if the lighter one weighs 36 kilograms, what's the difference of their weights? The lighter one is 2. So 2 now weighs 36 kilograms. That means 2 is equivalent to 36 kilograms. So what's the difference in their weights? To get the difference now, just get the difference of the ratio, which 3:2, with the same as 1. So what about 1? Straight away, you get the answer. Again, you cross multiply, you say 1 times 36 divided by 2. By 2 will go 1, by 2 will go 18. So in my case here now, the difference of their weights is only 18 kilograms. Class, that's how we share ratios. Assignment, as I weighed up. Assignment, as I weighed up. Work out these problems at your own time and test whether really you have the objective of my lesson has been achieved. Question number 1. Express 3:5 as a decimal. This is exercise. Express, number 1, express 3:5. Express 3:5 as a decimal. As a decimal. That's question number 1. Question number 2. Question number 2. Question number 2. The ratio of sheep to goats to cows. The ratio of sheep. The ratio of sheep. And the ratio of sheep to goats to cows again is 3:5:2. Now, this is the question now. If there are 36 cows, find the total number. Find the total number of goats and sheep. That's question number 2. Try those problems of sharing ratios, and I believe you will have got the answer. That's how we work out ratios. Class, the next lesson now will go now to direct and indirect proportion. So you can revise on your own so that when I teach again, you will have an idea on how to work out direct and indirect proportion. Thank you very much. Stay safe, be safe. Thank you very much.